Wait, a salesperson is calling me. Let me get this call. Hey there, Mr. Seller. How you doing, man? Yeah, man, I'm so excited to learn from you and to buy your products. Yeah, I was waiting for your call, actually. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes, let's book an appointment. Now, if your calls went like that, man, that would be great. I know I'm just playing around there, but you got to think about it. The buyer's not sitting around waiting for your call. She's doing other stuff. He's running his business. They ain't got no time for you, sitting around waiting for you. Imagine if they were waiting for you. What would it take for you to be able to get the prospects to be in a situation like that? Is it even possible? On today's episode, we're going to talk about cold calls, and we're going to talk about some different ideas of how you can make sure you're connecting with your prospects. Check it out. Let me go talk to the seller. Yeah, I would like to buy. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we have the one and only Mr. Ryan Pereus. Now, Ryan and I connected on LinkedIn. He has some really good insights. He runs an organization where he helps teams when it comes towards, just alleviating some of those cold outreach practices. And whether you're an individual contributor or you're working at an organization, you're looking for a great team to help make cold calls for you, Ryan and his team got it. And this is why I thought it made so much sense of the conversation, because he is deep. He is steep in the cold calling world, and it's working for him and for his clients. And I want to figure out what's working for them. Why is it working? And why is it not working? And he's going to give us some ideas and some things that they have adopted and things that you can adopt. If this is your first time listening to our podcast, please subscribe, because this episode, like all of our other episodes, are all around helping you to build pipeline or helping you increase your deal velocity, pipeline velocity, and close more deals faster. And I would love to share with you some more tips and ideas in our sales mastermind. It would be great to have you. You can find more details by going to thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. But these are small groups where sellers like you come together. They get coaching, get guidance from yours truly to help them improve their sales game. As we dive in today, Ryan gives you some of the ideas and some of the practices that they're adopting. And hopefully this can help you as well and help you to stop making some of those silly mistakes when it comes to cold call. Check it out. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
I'm excited to have you and to break down this, go into this conversation. I bragged about you a little bit in a teaser there, but I'd love for you to take a minute or so, jump on stage, and tell us a little bit more about what Ryan does, man. What's in your world, Ryan?
Yeah, so I've been in the sales development space for about 7 years. I'm the CEO founder of Superhuman Prospecting, and we have solely focused on cold calling in the B2B marketplace with USA-based team members. And so it's my passion, a bit of a talent, and I know the world still needs it. So we kind of combined those forces and made a company about 7 years ago. So based out of Philadelphia and have team members across the US. We manage about 80 to 100 campaigns a month.
My goodness. Well, I'll stay busy.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Well, this is good. And in the good city of Philadelphia. I love Philly. We, for some reason, I don't know, maybe it was about 5 years ago, a podcast was getting a lot of steam in that part of the country, and it was pretty dope. I got a chance to go up there and get some clients, and then did some work in right down below you in Delaware. So it was fun, man.
No, good stuff. Yeah, it's a busy area. You have New York, Philly, Baltimore, DC, kind of within a 3.5 hour spread. So
yeah, come on, you got to say it right, man. It's not Baltimore, it's Baltimore.
Baltimore, is that right? It's been a minute since I've been down there, so I got to stop by.
So, I had a friend, and I was coming down there, sitting on, saying all proper. I'm like, Baltimore, we're going through Baltimore or something of Baltimore. And then she was like, it's not Baltimore, it's Baltimore.
It's Baltimore. Speak like us.
I was like, all right, Baltimore.
Now you're a local.
Well, speaking about like us and speaking about being local, as a sales professional, we know talking on the phone, cold calling is a part of our jam. It's a part of our DNA. But Ryan, I'm getting a lot of pushbacks from folks, and you've probably seen it as well, where the phasing out of cold calling, maybe it's not necessarily as effective. There are other means, blah, blah, blah. Cold calling is dying. They've been saying this for eons. What sayest thou?
Yeah. No, it's a great question, because it's some of it's true, right? Some of it is dead in some areas. but it's
What
not
what what
dead.
is dead in per se, and then we
Uh,
can go on what's not. My bad. You just got
yeah,
me on that part.
for sure. I would say it's like efficacy to produce the desired result,
Mm.
or get an ROI.
Yeah.
And I think the challenge, just like any channel, is that you can have high saturation of cold calling. You can
Hmm.
have a product or service that is used to be kind of a unique, rare, or innovative product with low saturation, and was effective at one point, and then once competition and things changed within the market, cold calling changed.
Yeah.
And so calling the same list and expecting and doing the same thing, expecting a different result, was no longer working. But I think it's more of a pervasive issue amongst all channels, and you know things have just shifted. And
Yeah.
so I think you just have to adapt and realize that sometimes cold calling isn't just about um, you know the market saturation, or the fact it doesn't work. It's maybe about the fact that the product or service is no longer as relevant as it used to be as it relates to cold calling.
Yeah, and I think that's a fascinating part to it, right? That there's the way that the way that the way our go to market is evolving. The way the buyers are going to market to look for stuff. Also, I think that's an important part. The way that their experiences
Hmm.
um, plays an important part to this. What is working right now? Go deeper into that component. What are you guys seeing working when it comes to cold call?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, it's a good point you raised, right? So just to kind of segue into this, there's certainly
Yeah,
other
yeah,
channels that folks are drawn to, whether it's SEO, or using ChatGPT even for their channel, whether it's getting back into trade shows now that COVID's over. I think that depending on the type of product or service and the market, they might favor certain channels more than others. you
mm,
know and so I think just saying that last thing is that as market has expanded with the rise of digital, of course, um, everything's kind of been fragmented, so everything's kind of working just all in tandem rather than just one or two channels.
How do you guys
So
go to market with? Because you built a business literally around this idea of doing that cold outreach and for other people and running campaigns. So what could a go to market campaign look like for you guys if working with you when it comes to the cold calling side?
yeah, so we look at cold call success from kind of four primary elements, and you need
Mm,
at least you need them all to balance out so that they're all working together. So think of like four elements to create a fire, or four pillars of a building to hold it up. So one of those is product relevance. The other is target market. So it's how relevant your product is to the service or to the market, how accurate your target is, the strength of your messaging, and how well your SDRs are fitting into executing the rest of those three.
mm.
And so we look at that for our clients and say, hey, which one of these do you have strengths in, which ones are doing well, and which ones do you need to sharpen, so that all four are working together to give you the optimal results.
The you go. I love the fact that you mentioned the product relevant, and because I literally was like in about 2 years ago, I started really pushing that term with our team because I wanted to make a T-shirt and just put
Mm.
like relevance. Like I felt like so
Really?
many of the sellers, yeah, because so many times, especially in my role, I get emails that are not relevant to me in
Yeah.
the capacity that I have or
Yeah.
relevant to where we are with our company, and it's like every other stuff could be great. It could have been like a greatly outlined email. Maybe I was the ICP, which is good, and they're trying to do their made the phone call and do multi-threading, but again, it wasn't relevant. And if that key component, like if you don't have air, it's good luck making a fire, right? You need the oxygen, like you said,
Yeah.
the four pillars. So that part was really really critical. If more than anything, I would say if I were to I would weigh that one as probably one of the most important right now,
Oh,
in the whole outreach game. And I don't know, thoughts, feelings on this.
absolutely. I think that relevance. I think there's a couple different things we mean when we say relevance, right? There's
Sure.
there's messaging that feels relevant to them, whether it's sometimes like a trend that's going out, this happening in the world, and you reel it into your product or service, right? And there's also just like relevance of timing, but there's also just like that innate product or service relevance. So, for instance, we have a client that has a extremely unique and rare product right now, and it ends up being also very relevant to the university and college market. So he has a digital escape room adventure app for orientation teams at colleges and
What?
universities. Yeah, it's incredible. And so we're calling directors of orientation and things that, he's got Stanford as one of his clients that's using the app and things. It's kind of like a Pokemon Go for learning a campus.
Dude, that is brilliant.
And
That
so crazy. And so we're setting 100 meetings a month through cold calling for him right now.
hyper relevant.
Super relevant to that market because traditionally it's completely disrupted because traditionally you have someone that just goes and they walk site to site and have explain a part of the campus, where this is completely interactive in a game format so people can learn that landscape much more quickly in a fun way.
And the group too. I mean, those people were the ones that were doing Pokemon Go like crazy, probably like in a pandemic era. Like they're going to college now.
That's even,
But the,
even adds to it.
and I think the other part. So I in my college I was a part of a student ambassador. So I drove the golf cart around and gave the tours. So
So did
when I
I. I
was
mean,
a
that's
college
crazy.
student, you did that too. So, uh, so I there's so much with that. But yeah, but it goes back to this idea again. It's this concept of just that it's total relevant towards me. It's new, like you're saying, disruptive. And it's something that my market would be very well keen on. But not all the products, though. Not all products are created equal or created with that same level of relevancy. How can I How can I still enable or discover that um, if something is going to be relevant or not for someone, or the best way that you guys go about doing that right now?
It's a great question because it's kind of been a nut I've been trying to crack the last couple of years and figure out how to explain this. Because sometimes
Yeah.
you just don't have a new invention. You don't have an iPhone. It doesn't mean that
No.
your business can't exist and be thriving. What it really means is you have to do a little bit more work to draw out some additional features and benefits that might be different from your competitors. Maybe some accolades or social proof that you can compare, to give you that credibility instantly, or even
Hmm.
sometimes some kind of hook that can, add a little bit of, pull to them, whether it's, sitting down and for a meeting and offering something for their time, or, some promotional type of offer.
Yeah.
So we see that kind of like a pyramid, and at the bottom of the pyramid you have kind of basic commodities. So say traditional marketing services or digital marketing at this point, IT companies, commercial insurance, basic commodities, right? But if you have something that is some kind of additional feature that you can add on, some type of benefit that is extremely tangible, or some kind of accolade or social proof, you can raise yourself up in that kind of hierarchy. If we think of that digital escape room at the top, right, you can
Hmm.
move yourself up, and it makes it more relevant to the market through those other things that you've worked hard to add on to your message.
Yeah, no, I really like that. I think about like as you share, like, what are some of those key features or some of the things that's going to make you stand out. One thought that does come to mind too is like something that we've practiced is going back to the triggers, right? That help to make that it help to make that relevant, so much more relevant, so to speak. When I use it with our team, we're looking at like, I don't want somebody to get an email from us that they're gonna do like what I do, where it's gonna be deleting that email because it doesn't fit them, doesn't fit their role. So we look at that, but the trigger ideas as well, like are there certain events that are happening that we can be utilized to be able to kick off our outreach campaign to help this be relevant to them. So go back to the schools, maybe it's the beginning of the year or it's summer, and I don't know if it's they're planning out for the next year or whatnot, or their tours in the winter, what I mean. But they're So I think from adding to what you're doing, adding that to what we're, with how we can adopt some triggers can probably help our team as we're doing our part. But I love that.
No, for sure. I was reading something just today on LinkedIn about, I think Coda August, if you follow him, had mentioned
Mm.
something about those who are in the kind of commercial roofing space, and they said, cold call, it can work. You might trickle in some appointments here and there, but wait until there is, if you really want to make a big push, wait until there's some kind of major rainstorm or hailstorm, and then send out emails and letters to property managers of buildings to let them know about your service right around those times when there might be a need. If there's roofs getting damaged or whatnot, that's the time to reach out and watch out for those triggers. So that's a little bit weather, dependent, but at the same time, something to be focused on that can help increase those conversions.
So if I put the camera outside right now in Florida, there's my window. You can see the clouds rolling in. So if you're in Florida and you're listening to this episode, it's June 10th. Go make some calls. Like,
Yeah,
go
that's
hit
right.
some people up. It's coming in
Yep.
every day in South Florida right now, though, bro. It's like 2 o'clock. You can expect. What time is it? Look at that, 2:30. It's 3 o'clock. You can always expect the clouds are rolling in.
Is that
But I
right?
like it. Yeah, man. It's just
It's
that
probably
rainy
helpful.
season in South Florida, but I love it. Roofers can make some money. The roofers can make some money,
That's right.
Ryan.
Yeah, if you're a roofer, call 1-800 and we'll get you set up with a campaign.
Get Ryan's stuff in the show
Yeah,
notes so you can get access to that.
yeah,
Ryan, I want to talk about that conversion for the last couple minutes now. I think um, there's a lot that's in and I know the stuff that people are talking about with AI, and we didn't even get into that today, but I know that's one of the things that you guys have as well. But when it comes towards connect rate, what's a good connect rate nowadays post COVID? So
yeah. That is a huge topic on LinkedIn right now, and
yeah.
amongst a lot of thought leaders, because I think there has been some drop in some industries with connect rates to the decision makers we want to speak to, and I think there's a couple different ways to kind of combat that. And one of them you see is a lot of verified phone data with people who are likely going to pick up the phone. There are
Hmm.
providers out there who have the capacity to kind of make these pre-calls to determine whether or not people are going to be picking up the phone, they're that type of person, and then creating a list in your market with just those people.
It's
And
crazy.
we've seen that work before. In fact, we used it for this client I'm speaking of, and one market in particular was really hard to get to, and I think we had a 5 or 6% connection rate. And with the verified phone data, while it did minimize the number of contacts we could reach out to, I think our connect rate was more like 14% or 15%.
Wow.
You know, and I think that's low for verified phone data. I think you can see it higher
Yeah.
than that. Now, the one negative to that is I think you just have to watch out for spam uh, calls. When if you're showing up as a spam number on their caller ID, you can hurt your marketplace by doing so,
Yeah.
right? And if there's a pickup and then a hang up, and you see that number, you might be less likely to pick up the phone in the future.
Yeah.
But I do think there's another way to go about it that's a bit more traditional that we do and have success with, which is we use as many numbers as possible for one contact. So using, I think it's a great time to be in sales right now with all of the data providers that are available that are providing more and more quality data as time goes on. So you have a
Hmm.
combination of mobile, direct, and office,
Hmm.
and we see um, our our rates increase when we have all three. Per
Interesting.
contact, right? I think it just depends, but uh, we see that. And then lastly is when you have this is one that no one really wants to talk about, which is when you have a trained professional making these calls and they're talking to secretaries and gatekeepers, you actually can see an increase in conversion by the scripting that you have in talking to these secretaries or gatekeepers to try and get that right person or reveal the fact that they might actually be a stakeholder that you can speak with.
Hmm.
So that was a
Interesting.
lot there, but there's a few options.
Yeah, and I think the last one was pretty interesting. The scripting, how important that part is, because I feel like sometimes I had a conversation a couple on last week with a couple folks, and they're talking about how they have moved away from that scripting per se, where they are now in their sales career. Right, they're not just brand new SDRs and BDRs, but I think there's something to that notion where when you can make the call and have a good if you have a good grasp of what to say. And I think most new SDRs and BDRs fall in that category. They don't know what to say, or they may not have limited knowledge on that. And even if they're seasoned, they may have limited knowledge, but following understanding and knowing what the triggers and using the right keywords or using the right phraseology can make a huge impact with a conversation. And I think that's where, if you don't know, you better do this, because that's going to help you to be able to massage that conversation better. I saw you nodding here, so I know I hit some chords.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, it's almost as if people don't. It's almost an uncovered stone in the entire sales market, because we talk so much about good data,
Hmm.
and we talk about getting to the decision maker, but sometimes there's stages in between that can make significant increases in conversion. And we see it on our team. Some of our team members have an average of a 3 or 4% connect rate, and I'll just say, like, they don't last that long if they have something like that, because you can only have
Dang.
so many conversations, and unless they're converting half of those, right, or a third of those conversations, it's tough to hit the number, right?
Yeah.
But if you are able to get, between a 5 and 10%, we see an increase in appointments from those folks, because they get more at bats,
Yeah.
you know.
Amazing.
So
5 or 10% get that conversion rate, and your life's good.
I think so, and we've
Or
all
connect rate. Excuse me. Connect
connect
rate.
rate. And I think
Yeah.
it depends on the market you're calling, right? Selling into, if you're an IT company selling to Fortune 100 like Google or Apple, might be different than if you're a cannabis company reaching out to like dispensaries. Might have different connect rates.
You put such a such a wide range there.
Yeah. Now
I can see
it's
that poor sales rep calling those billion-dollar companies, but I can
yeah,
see that person
yeah,
calling these dispensaries. They're gonna be making change.
having a bit more success. Yeah. So I think it
Ryan,
depends, right? Yeah.
yeah, you got a lot of stuff that you guys are sharing, a lot of good things that you guys do. Why don't you take a second and tell us about it? I mean, if somebody's out there listening to this, a sales leader and their team, they're figuring, dang, it'd be good to work with Ryan a little bit. If I'm a sales rep listening to you, are you the terminator? Are you going to terminate my career, or are you enhancing, helping my career?
Oh, I'm helping it, baby. We're helping it. And I'll tell you
Uh,
why. It's because we've actually offered a new service. It's called Quick Calls. You can go check it out,
yeah,
quickcoldcalls.com. It's kind of in our beta phase.
quickcoldcalls.com.
And
Yeah.
it's what we consider, or what we've seen as the lowest entry level cold calling rates on the marketplace, with USA based team members and a manual sales dialer.
My
And
goodness.
so we're going to be launching it later this year into next year. And it's $695 to get started with cold calling. And
Not too shabby.
which we've made it just for AEs. So if you're an AE that needs cold calls and you either don't have time to do it or it would help you grow, uh, you can add it on, jump on, jump off very quickly. So something we're excited about.
I love it. Well, we're going to put a link down in the show notes. I don't know if you have a landing page yet or a place where people can connect with you. Is there some place we can send them?
Yeah, you can go to my LinkedIn profile. You can go to our website, superhumanprospecting.com, or quickcoldcalls.com.
Done. Ryan, we're putting them in the show notes. Thanks for the time today, man. Thanks for having some fun. And I think I'm going to go look for that Pokemon Go college tour app right now.
Good luck. Let me know how it goes. I haven't tried it yet.
Ooh, I got Pikachu.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, Ryan.
Awesome. Thank you.
That was Ryan, and I'm telling you, he knows what he's talking about. Go connect with him on LinkedIn and tell him that you heard him here on the Sales Evangelist podcast. I know he'll be super grateful for that. And you know what? I would be really excited to have you join us in our mastermind as well. In that mastermind, we're going to be able to guide you and give you some best practices of things that's working. And we're going to help you to be able to improve your game by listening to what you're doing, listening to some of your calls, give you some feedback, and coach you along the way. This mastermind has helped many individuals, and you can see some of the testimonials of some of our clients. If you go to thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind, we're more than willing to get you some of those things so you can see them as well. But you can find all the details there when you apply. Listen, the mastermind will help you to not only work on those things that are challenging, but to also learn what's working for other sellers. Check out our sponsors as well, because they have amazing offer. But most importantly, we want you to apply the things that you learn on this episode, because if you do these things, you're going to see an improvement. But you're never going to see an improvement unless you apply it. So you got to try it. So start somewhere. As always, I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you to raise the level of thinking. But most importantly, I want you to do big things. See you on the next one.